Pro boxing fans, we are here in Riyadh. It is fight week. It's a big one again. Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, Turkey Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season are making these big fights happen. So it's another one, and another time I get to see you, Kevin. How are you?
No, I'm good. Obviously excited to be here. It's always good to come back to Riyadh. Obviously the last time I was here was in May for the first one. So it was good to get back to camp with Tyson and assist him with sparring and all the training and that. And he's looking really good. So it's just good to be back here.
Let's talk about, first of all, yourself. I know you've been involved with Tyson's camp again and seen all the pictures, and I'm going to ask you about all of that. But how's things with you right now? What's the latest with yourself?
Yeah, obviously things are going good. I was elevated to world champion when Lawrence Okoli vacated the belt and he went up to heavyweight to seek heavyweight opportunities. I was the interim champion at the time and I was elevated to full champion. So obviously I'm looking to defend that belt, and obviously once I've defended that belt, also to go back to the heavyweight to seek big opportunities. Obviously my last heavyweight fight against Justice Hooney was a close one and they edged it in favour of him, and before that was Daniel Dubois at Tottenham. So I'm always seeking heavyweight opportunities, but it's nice right now to be the WBC Bridgerweight world champion, and there's been talks about me defending the belt against the silver champion, who's a Ukrainian guy, and Richard Riyadh coming up to challenge me. There was talks between Spencer and my manager Peter. They both co-manage me, and they were talking to, I think, people at Boxer. So there has been interest in Riyadh fighting me, but nothing set in stone. I'm just waiting for the next best opportunity from whoever it is, whoever, whenever. I'm always ready, always training. If you know me, that's all I do.
Of course, and that's good experience in the heavyweight division. And Daniel Dubois and Justice Hooney, who's fighting against Hooney, actually. Let's talk about the camp with Tyson Fury. First time around, unfortunately, he came short in your camp size, and everyone else thought that was a very close fight at the time. Have you seen anything different in Tyson this time from compared to the first camp?
Look, the first fight was so close. I think it's pretty obvious that in terms of preparation point of view, having received that cut on the first camp, I think it would have definitely hindered him in the second camp, or it would have always been on his subconscious mind or playing on his mind in his preparation for the actual event which took place in May. So with that out the window now, I think, yes, we're definitely seeing a more dialed in, I wouldn't say more focused, because Tyson was, in my opinion, focused for the last camp, but I think now his attention to detail and his ability to do everything that he wants to do, whether it was in sparring or training, without having to worry about the cut, was there. So I think we're going to see a definitely more dialed in Tyson Fury, and I'm sure everybody can see it this week. He's obviously very dialed in. It almost reminds me of the Fury Wilder 2 fight. That's how dialed in he looks. So it's going to be a great fight. The first one was very close. I mean, there's not much in it besides the round 9, which swung it in favour of Usyk. So I'm excited. I think Tyson's in really good shape. Mentally he's in a good space, and that's half the battle already won. But he's up against a tough competitor in Oleksandr Usyk, who's a very good fighter. He's a great fighter. So may the best man win. Obviously I'm in Tyson Fury's camp. I believe he can win. He's been doing some good things in the gym that I've seen with my eyes. I was there for 4 weeks, and I was very impressed by him. I think he was a lot better, more physical and stronger than he was for the first camp. But that's my opinion. So I guess we're going to see on Saturday night. I'm just excited for him. I'm really excited for him.
When you talk about him being dialed in and you're comparing it to the Fury-Wilder camp, what is it that slightly, it's probably incremental changes that he makes, but Tyson said he's not spoken to his missus for 3 months. I think that's gone around. He's also said with Sky Sports, saying that, listen, in that first fight, maybe I should have just taken that £10 million fine and done a delay, a $10 million fine and done a delay on that fight because of cuts and sparring or whatever else. But talk to me about then, what's dialed in that little bit more for this one?
I'd say mindset, maybe a shift in mindset. He knows what's in front of him now. I don't think he underestimated Usyk for the first fight, but now he knows what he's dealing with. But in saying that, so does Usyk know what he's dealing with. But I think Tyson's mindset shift will be the big difference here, and I think which could be the game changer for this fight.
Can I ask you, from what you've seen on both fighters, obviously you've not got to be in there with Usyk or anything like that, but from what you've got to see of him, like from the outside, and you've been in with Tyson, how many more levels do you believe there is to a Tyson Fury, and how many more levels do you believe that you can see possibly from Oleksandr Usyk, because they're both not even elite. There must be a level above elite where these boys say that. So
no, of course, they're both sub-elite fighters. They're way above elite, in my opinion, especially in today's era. Oleksandr Usyk, how much more better can he be? I think he had the best night of his life in what was a very hard, tough fight in May. And I believe Tyson had moments where he was doing great, and I think arguably one of his better performances until he got caught. Yes, the Wilder 2 was a dramatic fashion knockout in the third fight, and he's had other good fights when we beat Dylan White, but he was performing really well for large parts of the first fight with Usyk. So you can't say he wasn't doing well, because there was not much in it, and he was in there with an elite boxer himself. So I think both guys, how much more they can improve, I think it's margins or fractions, but I think 1% for them is a hell of a lot in there. So if each of them can improve 1%, we're in for a spectacle and fireworks.
Anthony Joshua, when he was asked about it, he said, he's picking Usyk on this one because he's obviously been in the ring with him, and he's such a great fighter. But you can see people's points of view from both sides, right? Because when people are sat there, it's not just been Tyson Fury. I've heard a lot of people going towards Usyk, so it shows how good and competitive this fight can and will be.
I mean, just look at the first fight, how close and how good was it? So there's no reason why the second fight shouldn't be. I mean, this is what boxing needs in today's time, the best fighting the best, and that's what we're getting with Riyadh season and all the other cards which are taking place in England and America. The best are fighting the best, and that's what it's about essentially. And I think Usyk's got his praises, Tyson's got his praises. There's people who are in the Usyk camp, there's people in the Fury camp, and that's what makes for a good fight. There's definitely not a one-sided judgment here.
I know you can't give much away because you've been in camp, but do you feel like with Tyson Fury he could have made it a little bit more uglier, used that weight, but probably Usyk's a bit hard as well at the same time because he's got great footwork. That it sounds easy me saying it to you that could Tyson have made it uglier and use his strength a lot more, but do you feel like in this fight maybe we're going to see a bit more of that Tyson?
Look, I think we could maybe see a bit more of that Tyson, but also you've got to be very careful in doing that because you can make yourself vulnerable. So I think Tyson knows what he needs to do. Obviously, I'll be honest with you, being in camp with him, I still don't know their game plan. They've kept it very secret and very private, and I think it's very important. They know between Tyson Fury and Sugar, they know what they want to do and what they need to do. Whether he's going to be more physical, whether he's going to box, that's entirely up to him. I think he must do a bit of both. My opinion is do a bit of both, and I think we'll see a very good, very strong Tyson Fury if he can do both. But he mustn't rely on one over the other. I think he's got to mix it up. That's my opinion. But I don't know what the game plan is, to be honest. I really don't.
We are in 2024 and there is groundbreaking developments on this fight, and there's going to be an AI judge. Yeah, that's interesting, right? Because first of all, we never heard nothing about it, and then overnight we've heard about it, so it's all come over surprise to a lot of us. And it just seems to be the way Riyadh season and Turkey El Sheikh are doing. They say, groundbreaking, they're making fights happen without any politics, and things are getting made quicker. Now it seems like we're getting an AI judge. What do you make of it?
It's crazy. I mean, that's the way the world is moving at the moment. Obviously not official, but it'll be interesting to see how the AI judges versus how the AI judges it versus the other three official judges. So interesting to see. Could be the way times are moving, but I think we must keep it old school and keep the whole three judges.
Would you encourage an AI judge for any of your fights, or would you want to just keep it to the humans for now?
No, I think depends on how the AI judge is programmed. I wouldn't know about all that technology and stuff, but if it's going to be fair and it takes away human error, then I'm not opposed to it. But only trial and error, right? You're going to have to run it with a few fights to see how it really works and if it's really picking up on the right things. But yes, I do think there's definitely an element of human error which comes into judging these days. I believe my fight with Hooney was a lot closer than the judges had it. But that's my opinion. But also a lot of other people's opinions. But it is what it is, we just move forward, and that's boxing. There has to be a winner and there has to be a loser, and very seldom you get a draw. So that's it. Rather a winner or loser, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I'm all for seeing what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing what the AI judge does on Saturday night. Quickly before I do let you go, I do want to talk about Daniel Dubois, one of your former opponents, fighting Joseph Parker, who I'm sure Tyson Fury and that camp, and you know, being around Tyson quite well. Good fight for both guys. Both guys have had similar, sort of trajectory when it comes to Riyadh season. Both are written off at one point in their career. Now both are in a very good situation. Daniel Dubois, world champion now. How do you see that fight playing out?
Tough fight. I think Daniel Dubois is on a meteoric rise. He's riding the crest of the wave with these last few victories, and credit to him, he's really done well. Having said that, so is Joseph Parker. He's been put into fights where a lot of people didn't think he could win, and he turned it around. So it's a great fight. You've got a boxer versus a puncher. But I think people mustn't underestimate Daniel has an element of boxing ability too. He's got a very good jab, he moves around well, and he's got concussive power. So it makes for a great fight. Obviously, friends with Joseph Parker, so I'd love to see Joseph Parker win. But it's not going to be easy, and I think Joe knows that. But he knows how to win too. He's been in there with big punches before, and he knows how to overcome it. So may the best man win. Obviously, I'm in Joe Parker's corner. He's always supported me, and I'll support him. But by no means will it be an easy fight. As I said with the Dubois fight, Dubois and AJ, AJ is a great fighter. Both guys are massive punchers. But I think a lot of people underestimated Daniel Dubois, and I didn't. I've been in there with him. So it's going to be a hard fight for Joseph. But can he do it? Yes, he can. If he sticks to his specific game plan, then I think he can win.
Before I let you go, I do want to ask you, how much is confidence key to a fighter? Because we've seen Daniel Dubois surge through certain levels because he's just very confident. Obviously, he's a great fighter and he's improved, but it seems like there's a different level of confidence there. How much does that improve a fighter?
100%. It does a world of good for a fighter, especially a guy like Daniel, who was always doubted, and people said, like, when he fought me, he went down 3 times, he was quitting, then he quit against Usyk, and then before that they called him a quitter against Joe Joyce. He's come through a hell of a lot. Now he's the man. He's the man who beat the man. He's the man of the division alongside Usyk right now. So his confidence must be booming, and rightfully so, but that makes a dangerous man, or even more dangerous man than he was. So yeah, confidence plays a massive role in any fighter's artillery.
Kev, listen, always a pleasure talking to you. I am going to be waiting on the news for your next fight. Hopefully it's going to be out here on
Great.
if it's out here for, I know you're going to be defending that Bridgerweight title, and then we'll see what happens after that. But always a pleasure. Always good to see you on Fight Week, and we'll see you after the fight. Top man, thank you very much.